Today's episode is brought to you by Mazars.
SoundCartel.
From SoundCartel, I'm Nicole Goodman, and this is Business Essentials Daily. In yesterday's episode, we heard about the importance of differentiating our online brand and adopting a Hollywood archetype to do so, like an Adam Sandler jester or a creator like Doc from Back to the Future. But how do you go from archetype to implementation? If you haven't heard yesterday's interview with Digital Autopilot CEO and co-founder of the Change Coach, Joel Gerschman, I suggest you go back now before listening to this one. Because today, Joel will outline how to take these archetypes and build a successful brand strategy. First, Chris Ashmore asks Joel, what are the advantages of having an e-commerce strategy?
It's no secret that e-commerce is booming right now, which is why individuals and businesses are entering the e-commerce space in droves. From people using it as a bit of a side hustle through to traditional bricks and mortar businesses who are realizing that it's a critical adjunct to their current business model. In fact, during the pandemic, some of our clients only survived because they pivoted to an e-commerce strategy. One of my clients, for example, is a clothing manufacturer who sells to major department stores. But when no one was going into department stores, it was their e-commerce strategy that basically kept them afloat. And what's interesting is that even now that the economy has opened back up, their e-commerce sales are keeping pace with, and in some cases outstripping, their traditional sales channels. So if you know what you're doing, if you deeply get e-commerce strategy, it can be a really powerful growth tool for many businesses.
How then does a business implement or develop a brand strategy?
Well, in essence, you really need to map out the full breadth of your brand personality, with a clear outlook on life, beliefs about the world, a unique tone of voice, visual identity, the works. Because it's only when you create a full-fledged personality that you can build connection with the authenticity and humanity of a real person. This is not a trick. You've actually got to be this. How do you do it in practice? Well, I find it helpful to think through 6 components. First of all, you need to clarify which is your brand archetype. So considering your target market and what drives them, which archetype would resonate most strongly with them? If you jump onto our blog, you'll be able to see all 12 of them there and select which is the best one for your business. And then to bring it to life, I find it helpful to consider which Hollywood actor best embodies your chosen personality. Number 2, your brand purpose, right? Why is your brand in existence? Many businesses don't really think about this deliberately. Ask yourself, what impact do you want it to have on your customers and the world? Clarifying your why is critical to helping people understand your brand's underlying mission. When customers feel that your brand is about more than simply making money, when they feel that it aligns with some sort of meaningful purpose, you're actually much more likely to foster deep loyalty and connection. So that's the second. The third key point is to clarify your brand values. What attitudes and behaviors will underpin how you operate? How will your brand think and act? I like to think of values as a little bit like a compass guiding your brand towards its purpose. And it really helps customers understand what to expect when interacting with you. And when you act in alignment with those values, it builds trust and brand advocacy. So that's the third one. The fourth is your brand voice. So considering the archetype that resonates best with your customers, what kind of tone, language, and words would best express that personality? Your communication style is key to an authentic, aligned personality. The brands that do this really well nail the brand voice. Number 5 is your visual identity. Okay, and this is where your logo finally comes in, right? This is where you ask questions like, how will your typography, your logo, your color palette, your image style, and graphic design give expression to your brand personality? Again, alignment is key to creating a real believable persona. And then finally, number 6 is your brand messaging. What will you say to ensure that your target market understands your persona and positions your brand correctly in their mind. Once you've mapped out your brand personality in this way, the idea is then to just apply it to every touch point in the customer journey, right? From your website and packaging to your social media and your sales process. And if you can do that, if you can give full expression to a clear, authentic personality that deeply resonates with your target market, you'll create brand loyalty that's hard to match.
Mm-hmm. Are you finding that more businesses are starting to understand that the brand personality is important? And at risk of sounding like an advertorial, is this what you do at Digital Autopilot? Do you take businesses through this kind of strategy?
It's a great question. Many people are finding that real branding is more and more important. As competition intensifies in pretty much every area, businesses are needing to stand out in some way. And the normal differentiation strategy is important and I would say critical. But if the businesses want to take it to the next level, they need to think about their brand strategy much more deliberately than they are right now. And yes, that does connect in with what Digital Autopilot does. So on one hand, you might think of us as a leading Australian digital marketing agency. But we're unique in that we don't just specialize in Google Ads, SEO, Facebook, email, and so on. We actually specialize in business growth strategy, right? Which includes things like brand strategy. You see, I'm also a business coach. So when I teamed up with my co-founder, Raf Sabag, who's a digital marketing guru, we really focused on merging business strategy with digital strategy to help our clients deliver serious growth and return on investment.
And who would you say is your digital archetype?
We see ourselves as hell-bent on supporting the average Aussie business owner who's just trying to grow their business and sustain themselves and their family. And we try to do it with genuine honesty and care, which means we align with the everyman, or I should say every business, archetype. Right? We kind of think of ourselves as the Tom Hanks of digital marketing, the team that you can rely on and trust.
That was Joel Gerschman, CEO of Digital Autopilot. This episode of Business Essentials Daily is produced by the team at SoundCartel. Thanks for listening. I'm Nicole Goodman. We'll bring you more Be Daily tomorrow. Follow at BE Daily Podcast across social media and head to bedaily.com.au for more from the Business Essentials Daily podcast. SoundCartel. This episode was brought to you by Mazars. To find out more, visit mazars.com.au. That's mazars.com.au.